It's digital game time!
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of DGT Live, coming at you from the Central Coast of California. I'm your host, Leo, along with Rick. What's going on? And once again, if you're thinking about who's missing, yes, Francisco is gone. He's on tour with some big rock stars again.
I think he's going to have some of his stuff going on that you'll later on be able to see. We don't want to really disclose any information due to potentially harming him in some kind of way, maybe?
But his loss is your gain, folks, because you get more of and more of.
Oh, I shit my pants. Actually, that may have been.
That just reminded me
you're
of,
living the dreams, DP.
Yeah. This old joke that I had with an old buddy of mine. You remember Carlos, our old buddy?
I remember him.
Where we talked about this fictitious film where Arnold Schwarzenegger had co-stars named Larry and Curly and Christopher or something. Larry and Christopher.
I vaguely remember you guys
Yeah.
going on and on about some kind of...
Yeah, and his muscles do a lot of the acting and actually win like a Best Supporting Actor award.
He's just walking around.
Christopher. Yes.
It's like that reminds me of totally unrelated but kind of similar on Thor Ragnarok. What was the name of the executioner? His guns.
Oh yeah.
They're called Des and Troy because together they destroy. That was awesome.
Dumb.
That was
It's kinda
awesome.
funny but dumb.
That was
just
awesome.
like our Arnold Schwarzenegger joke. Yeah, I guess my timing is just off. It just I don't feel it anymore like I used to. That used to make me crack up back in the day.
I remember. I think it was you. We were in like a kickboxing class, kind of unrelated but kind of similar. We were talking about like naming like a special move or something like that. And then you came up with laying the lumber.
Oh yeah,
or
laying the lumber.
And it was just like a
I
1-2.
remember that.
It was a 1-2 combo, and you're like, and then you lay the lumber.
Yeah, I was like, this one jabs, my strong hand jabs, and then with my left hand, I lay the lumber.
Unrelated.
So dumb.
Unrelated.
So juvenile.
Memories.
Just like the new trailer that just dropped this
Whoa.
week.
You know what? I actually have not seen it yet.
You have not seen it?
No, I saw like the first maybe like 5 seconds, and then something happened. I can't remember. My kids were in the room or something. I was like, oh no, I don't want to watch it. Something like that.
Now there's a Red Band trailer, but
Mhm.
we're not gonna see that one. Family friendly. But before we get to the rest of the show, I just want to remind people you can check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. Please visit our website at digitalgametime.com where you can check out everything that we have on there, including some merchandise. Click on our store.
Oh, yeah,
You'll
we
see
still,
some
we still have merchandise.
cool stuff on there.
Plenty of it.
Plenty of merchandise. Cool t-shirts.
Support us, won't you?
Yeah. With original designs by yours truly and myself.
No. I'll take credit for it.
You inspire.
All right. I will give you that. I will give you that. I am your muse. Their muse. Pancho's not here.
Oh,
Their
man.
muse.
But also, I want to remind people that they can go ahead and drop comments down below, and we will be getting to them as soon as we can. Without further ado, let's get to the trailers.
Deadpool 2.
Deadpool 2 trailer dropped this week. One of our favorite characters, one of my personal favorite characters, even before the films. I really love this character from the comics just because of his comedy and breaking the fourth wall, and to a certain extent, even the raunchiness, although I don't encourage it for most people. I mean, this is just a fictional character, but it works well for fiction.
Comic book wise, it wasn't as bad. It wasn't until it got to the graphic novel kind of stage where it started.
That's the only stage I've ever seen in Deadpool.
Well, that's why I mean he's
he's
an original comic book character,
right?
Which has been out for quite some time. And yeah, he's the merc with the mouth. He's got that attitude. He's got that bad habit of speaking inappropriately. But it wasn't as bad as how the movies portrayed him, because they were leaning more towards that graphic novel style of his humor and his comedy, which is great. It's funny. It works. But I'm kind of missing. I'm
and
missing
we
the
have
trailer.
one of the best Goonies of all time, or one of my favorite actors.
That's right. We were talking about that.
Is a part of this movie, and he just, as far as visuals go, he just totally looks the part, man. Like they just nailed it as far as his aesthetic, as his look goes.
There's a cybernetic arm.
They just completely nailed it, man. He looks so much like what I would expect this character to look like.
I don't know, just deep down inside, I still have that. Whoa.
Terry Crews is in this film.
That was him.
Mm-hmm.
Deep down inside, I still have that domino. I don't know what you would call it, but the fact that I know that he's Thanos and he's Cable, two different characters within the same universe, technically.
Yeah,
it bugs me. Like it just like
He is the Eddie Murphy of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
He's like Professor Clump is what you're trying to refer to.
Even though he's never been in a film with both those characters, where both of them are in the same place at the same time.
Because if you would imagine, like, oh, that was pretty nuts.
I think we are watching the Red Band trailer.
I think so.
About it. It's pretty graphic.
Maybe. But
sorry, folks.
If you were to think about it, you know, at some point, if Marvel finally gets everything sorted out and it gets mutants into the MCU universe, they could potentially have Thanos May 18th. Oh, Thanos and Deadpool in a near proximity, and if that were to happen,
that'd be kind of cool. I think.
I mean, who would play who? I mean, I'm guessing just spitballing here. I'm gonna assume Thanos is a more higher priority, so he would go towards that role. Mm-hmm. But it kind of kills that feeling that that was established with his previous acting and as Cable. But
true.
Who am I?
Right now we're watching the newest game to drop. It's a Way Out by I forget who the developer is. Maybe you can look at EA. It's EA Hazelight. This guy is a film director, but he loves video games. He decided he could make a video game just as good, if not better, than some of the ones out there.
Just to show
off. And he's
off.
doing something that's completely, I guess you could say, out of the box when it comes to the style of game that he's using. It's a couch co-op game where it's a local 2 players, so pretty much it's not online like you versus your buddy. I'm sure maybe at some point they might integrate that into the gameplay, but as of right now, that's not the case. Where you both play simultaneously, and it's just an adventure where you both have to
assist each other.
Now,
can you play as one player in control each character, or do you have to play 2 players?
You have to play 2 players simultaneously, which I know it's an inconvenience for a lot of people, but at the same time, I like this. This kind of makes me think like it forces you to play the way the director wants you to play. And so far, the scores coming in. This is one of those games I was very, very excited for, especially after this past year's E3. Mm-hmm. However, nothing to worry about here because the initial scores that are coming out on Metacritic are that this game is an 80 out of 100. So that's the total tallied average scores, and that makes me really happy. That means it's a really, really good game.
It's a passing grade.
And for the first game to come out of this studio, out of this director, that's excellent. You couldn't ask for couldn't ask for a better score for a first time effort.
So you have to buy 2 copies. You buy half a CD, your friend buys the other half. No, I mean it looks cool. It looks visually, it looks amazing. I don't know so much about the story. It looked like a breakout scene and then plus more. It reminds me of Brothers. I think it was kind of based off of that style of gameplay.
Right. Imagine that, but except of one person using both characters. Mm-hmm. It's one person using each character. Right. But you have to work together solve
this. I mean,
work your way out.
I don't know how I feel about that yet. I can see how it's going to be kind of problematic because, like, let's say me and you, all right, let's play.
We want to play, but I have to be over at your house to be playing with you.
And then, hey, I got to go home. When can you come back? We got to finish this game.
Exactly. And I'm hoping this comes out on PC. I'm really hoping. Right now, it's only coming out on consoles.
That would be kind of inconvenient. It would have to have an online aspect to it because who's going to always bring over their desktop or laptop just to play co-op, local co-op?
I would imagine eventually they're going to have some sort of DLC patch where online, non-local co-op is
I don't know
available.
how I feel about that yet, but the fact that it looks like you're going to have to really do some really good puzzle work, solve some stuff together, that's all right. It's putting it up there for me.
Yeah, I like it. It's new.
I
always like innovation in video games,
right?
And it seems like they pulled it off. This game, I've already seen some of the initial reviews for it. It does have its issues. Obviously, it didn't get a perfect score, but to be an 8 out of 10 or 80 out of 100, that's pretty darn good for a first effort.
The reason why I was saying about the style of this is that Brothers game. It didn't really interest me that much. Yeah, and it got a decent score. It was.
I played Brothers. It's a lot of people considered it their game of the year. I guess a lot of those people are just more sensible than I am. I felt sensitive emotionally because they got a big emotional, payoff.
You're talking about story-wise.
See,
the thing is,
that Brothers game. I didn't feel that same way. I just thought it was fun for the puzzle mechanics.
I felt it was slow. It was just a slow game.
And it wasn't that hard either.
So far, just from that little clip, this seems a little bit more action-based. A little bit more.
Another thing I like about A Way Out, from what I've seen so far, is that it's not a very long game. They say typically probably a 5 or 6 hour playthrough.
All right.
So not bad considering you have to be there.
What are you gonna do this Friday night
with your buddy
out?
playing?
Let's do this.
Yeah, it's a game I want to play, and I might have to force some of the people at my house to play it with me if I want to beat it.
You're telling your daughters, like, come on, just play. I need to pass. I need to pass this game already.
The game's rated MA. I have to be an adult.
Just cover your eyes. I'll tell you what to do. All right.
Oh, man. But I'm excited,
and this is out already?
Yes.
Right.
No, it's coming out this week.
Ah.
So, actually, we'll probably just see it right now. March 23rd. Oh, today. Today it's out.
Yep.
Yeah. So, awesome. The Game Developers Conference happened this week, Rick.
Oh, did it now?
Yeah. So it's not for the fans. It's no fancy kind of stuff going on. It's mostly just for the people that work within the industry. But this little tidbit came out of it, and it has everybody in the industry, especially PC gaming, very, very exciting. Rick, do you know what ray tracing is?
Ray tracing?
Yes.
I do not.
Ray tracing is what they call all the shadowing effects and lighting effects when they're making video games. And they're working on new Microsoft, along with some of the other game engine developers, are working together. Which one? Microsoft and AMD particular. And then NVIDIA is working on their own version of the software for real-time ray tracing. Now, for those of you that don't know what that means in terms of visuals, it means that the quality of lighting effects that you're going to get out of a film like Pixar's Toy Story or Pixar's Coco, those films look absolutely amazing, and they don't look anything like what you see in video games. They're like on another level. Well, those people are using technology that takes days sometimes to render a few seconds of what you see on the screen, and it's because it's so complicated. But what the game industry is moving towards making these same lighting and shading effects take place in real time on a console, on your computer. And that's the technology that they're working on right now. And this is actually a real-time demo that they developed and they showed off at the Game Developers Conference. As you can see on your screen here, let me give you a full screen pop of it here. A lot of the visual effects that you see, a lot of the reflections off of their helmets. As you can see, Captain Phasma there has a chrome getup, so you can see a lot of very, very fine detail in those reflections. And that's all being calculated in real time, as opposed to how it used to be, where it used to take days to
Right, where
go
it
ahead
was just a
and
pre-rendered.
render something like this. Yes.
So, cool. This looks amazing. I mean, I'm not saying that it's dumb. This looks amazing, but in reality, would most people really notice?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely. I think so. Because when you look at a video game, you know you're looking at a video game, right? But with with this demo, it changes everything.
I'm comparing it to like a pre-rendered shading and lighting effect that they have, you know, because of the sun automatically going over a hill or whatnot, or through the trees.
Well, you get very rustic, very crude, I guess you could say, shadows for the most part. But what this does, it gives you those very fine details. This is the only video I'm showing here, but there's more tech demos that they displayed for the GDC viewers as well, where they show, you know how in prisms, if you put a ray of light through a prism, it gives you the colors of the rainbow, right?
The refraction, right?
Yeah, the refraction. Right. And then if you like bend those colors, the rays of light that come out making those colors, and you combine them, like let's say yellow and blue makes green, right? In real life. Well, with the technology that they're using, you'll be able to do this in game as well, or it'll do it automatically, and it just creates some very stunning visuals.
It looks real cool. I mean, it looks, like you said, stunning, but I don't know. To me, like when you're into a game, when you really get into it, sometimes you don't really see all that. You're just focusing on the action, you know, and to some degree, some of that resolution that you're looking at, but the rest, you know, becomes kind of like tunnel vision. You know, it's all out here. I don't know. It just seems like it's kind of a little bit on the overkill side of the scale. It looks cool. It looks crisp. I can totally dig this
and you know what?
Cutscenes.
I'm
and
okay with overkill because I think our history in video games has always shown us that overkill is what we strive for. We always want those photorealistic graphics and moments. So I'm just completely stunned that we're finally getting this through software. It shocks me that it's through software as opposed to hardware. All right. Well, moving on. Sadder news. The founder of Toys R Us, Charles Lazarus, dies, and he was, I believe, I forgot. In his 90s, 94, I want to say, years old. And this is kind of sad, considering that Toys R Us just filed for bankruptcy just a few weeks ago, and they were forced to shut down their chains all over the place. So
no, it wasn't a complete shutdown, was it? Because I heard it was something like 800 stores.
Yeah, I know it's affecting the majority of their stores. Okay. I don't know if it's 100% complete. I don't have that detail, but it's just sad. It says Toys R Us is a staple of American culture.
It is. I mean, I remember that, and KB Toys. You remember KB Toys?
Yeah.
I don't even know if that company still exists.
It does.
But those two stores, and I'll admit, I don't go there very frequently. But when I need something like on the spot, like a gift for, you know, last minute gift, where do you go? You go to Toys R Us and you go find whatever
Toys R Us is my go-to place when it's like a very special day for my kids. And I'm not looking to buy something on the cheap. You know, I'm really looking for that gift that they want. Yeah. And Toys R Us is typically the place where you can find it. So to Mr. Charles Lazarus, we salute you and your family. May you rest in peace. And thank you for everything you have done in your lifetime.
I think that kid in all of us just died a little.
Yeah. Toys R Us kid. Man. I don't want to grow up.
Man, what happened? I grew up. Dang it.
Yeah. And Francisco demanded this. 1984. Cobra Kai. A new, what is this? A TV series or a series on Amazon? Legalize marinara.
Sorry, still kind of getting over it. Was it Hulu or Amazon?
I believe it's Amazon.
So straight to kind of like what Netflix is doing with all their major series, where they just release a whole series.
Oh,
right?
It just said YouTube Red original series.
Oh, YouTube Red. There it is. LaRusso, dang. And this is actually the character, right? The actor that played the bad guy in Karate Kid, right?
Is it? I didn't know that.
I think it is. I mean,
I've never actually seen this. I just added this because for as an ode to Francisco.
I haven't really fully looked into it, but I'm pretty sure bam, little kid just takes him out. I mean, it's cool. It plays on the
nostalgia.
The nostalgia
Heavy
factor.
on the nostalgia.
It pulls on those strings. But is it something that was demanded, that needed to happen?
That is him.
That's
LaRusso.
That's LaRusso. That's for sure him. But no, I'm talking about
the other actor.
Yeah, the bad guy.
I wonder. It does look like him.
I believe it is him.
Yeah.
Well, what's his name? What's his real name? Daniel? No, that's the character. Dang, I forget.
Lou Diamond Phillips.
Ralph Macchio. Ralph Macchio. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it was needed. But you know what? It's coming out. I'm pretty sure we're gonna see it. I'm sure we're gonna have some
purely for nostalgia's sake. I mean, the trailer looks interesting. I can't say yet if it looks like it's gonna be super high quality or whatever, but it does look interesting. So that's saying something.
Well, so far, there's the little skeleton. So far, it kind of, just from what I'm seeing, it's kind of showing, the bad guy is now kind of churning things around and getting the delinquents, getting them off the street, kind of turning them to good. Okay, cool. Positive message.
Cobra Kai.
But, there it is.
I dig it.
The Karate Kid. Man.
Hey, it's nostalgia, man. I'm digging it.
I'm sure we're going to see it. I'm sure we're going to see it.
I can't be mad at it, man. Yeah.
I know Pancho was the one that was actually like flipping his lid for it. He was more excited than we were, obviously.
So, photos have emerged of the new Joker.
This is the Gotham series, right?
The Gotham series. And people are going nuts from the early goings of...
As in a bad way.
No, they're going nuts in a good way. They're saying
like they're loving this?
This is the actor that should have played Joker in the DC cinematic universe. They're saying that this guy is putting the Jared Leto Joker to shame.
Wow.
And, I mean, as far as visuals go, how could you be mad at that, man? It's like, he looks like what you see in the comics. Like, you have... I mean, it doesn't look gritty. The show has never looked gritty. At all. I mean, I know they aspire for that whole dark aspect of it, but it's never had that. But as far as just the look goes of the Joker, I think that they're on a better path than what DC did with the Jared Leto Joker. It definitely
reminds me of the Jack Nicholson Joker.
Yes.
It reminds me of that, but the look doesn't portray the... What do you call that? Not narcissistic... what do you call it when you're just so all about yourself?
That's narcissism.
Is it?
Yeah.
I mean, just the way that the Joker is. He doesn't care about anything else other than his amusement, enjoyment. Not so much psychotic, but he'll do anything to his amusement, right?
Right.
I don't know if that falls in line with narcissistic, but that just doesn't portray that. That seems more of like just, I'm different. I'm a business guy, and I got thugs for hire, kind of.
You definitely see the inspiration of the Jack Nicholson character through these images that have been released so far. So I mean, I'm digging it. Jack Nicholson is definitely one of my favorite Jokers that I have ever seen. Legalize marinara. And I think it's cool. I don't watch Gotham. This isn't going to get me to watch Gotham. But if the hype is real around this actor and his ability to portray the Joker, then I'm on board.
To be honest, I don't remember if I finished the first season of Gotham, but obviously that tells you.
Right.
It just didn't really...
It's not that good.
Yeah. I don't know about his acting, but, just the look itself, I'm not too excited about it.
Yeah.
But
well, another... death this week. Sir Stephen Hawking passed away on March 14th, 2018. He will be missed. Man, he's definitely a legend in all pop culture as well as in the field of science, because although he was diagnosed with ALS, I think it was just a little bit over more than 30 years ago, he continued doing what you could argue he was born to do, which was work in the field of, I think it was physics and science and astronomy, all that kind of stuff, where he, had his theories about the Astros and all that. And
I think even if most people didn't nowadays, if most people don't even recognize who or what he was, they do understand that he had some significance.
Yes.
So, I mean, that alone is just, impressive.
Right. Definitely.
And yeah, as you were saying, it is a heavy loss. I mean, to have his condition, ALS, right?
Yeah, a lot of people die immediately.
The
from
expectancy
that
isn't that long, right?
It's a very short life expectancy.
So even that, I mean, we're talking about not just mentally what he accomplished, just physically, what he survived and surpassed is an inspiration to, things can still work out. You can still do physically, you're not limited to just because of your condition. You can still do more.
Right.
And I think he was, I mean, if maybe not the perfect best, but he was a good example that a struggle like this can't hold you down. You can keep going more.
Right.
But anyways, I'm sorry. I kind of interrupted whatever you were saying.
Yeah, I just wanted to say most of his scientific beliefs are highly regarded. As far as some personal beliefs, some, I mean, they're personal beliefs,
have their own, right?
To each their own. But one thing that's undeniable is that he is a human example of never making an excuse for what you were put on this earth to do. He couldn't, maneuver his body, and he still did what he was born to do, which is, amazing. And I think that part of his life, it definitely serves as a great inspiration for anybody going through any kind of hardship in their life. And I think we can all just look at that and say, hey, if he can do it, we can keep on going, and there's a greater purpose for all of us.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I'm starting to lose my voice.
I think it's about that time, Leo.
It is about that time. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today on DGT Live. Until next time, I'm Leo.
I'm Rick.
Enjoy your games and love your families. Ciao.
It's Daddy's game time.
Remember to check us out at digitalgametime.com, as well as Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, all at keyword Digital Game Time. We also have a merchandise shop, digitalgametime.com/merchandise.